is urgent.
Urgent, 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 urgent. Emergency. Hey, it's Sue.
And Megan,
The Spine Breakers.
And today we are going to do the 50 Nifty Bookish Questions tag. Or 52 Nifty Bookish Questions tags. I don't know what I'm saying.
52 Nifty Bookish Qs.
Yeah, that's what we're
And this was created by Adrian at Strip Cover Lit, and we were tagged by Celia. So we will put both of their videos down below.
Yes,
so let's get into it. Well, first let's talk about our beer. We'll have to try not to talk forever about these questions because there's 52 of them and there's 2 of us, which means it's like there's 104.
So we're going to try to make this brief.
Alright, so I bought this purely because it's called Polyjuice Potion.
Yeah, so we're going to
And even though we're not called the restricted section anymore, we still love Harry Potter.
True fact.
This is from Central State, which I don't think I've had anything from them.
I have not.
Which might be because I think they mostly make sours, if not exclusively. And I bought it even though it's a sour, and I don't usually like sours. But we're gonna try it.
We're gonna give it a go.
Yeah, it says it is a collaborative ale. It was in collaboration with Emporium Arcade Bar. And it's for wizards and muggles who solemnly swear they're up to no good. A sour brew concocted with plums, elderberries, and magical bits and bobs. And we're gonna pour it in a glass because we want to see what color it is. It better be purple! It's a little purpley. The color's not that impressive.
No.
So that's what Polyjuice Potion looks like. Alright, let's try it.
Here we go.
It's okay.
That aftertaste is like vomit.
I don't think it tastes like vomit. It tastes like... The aftertaste tasted like a straight up beer to me. Like a Pilsner.
I'm gonna reserve judgment until I've had a bit more of it.
It's not that sour, which is a plus in my book.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into the questions. Question 1, what book are you reading right now?
Right now, I am reading Red Clocks by Lenny Zumbos, is what I'm reading right now.
How are you liking that so far?
It's good. It's different than I thought it would be, but it's good.
It's on my TBR as well. And I am reading The Dream of My Return by Horatio Castellanos Moya. Did I pronounce that correctly? I don't know. But I'm enjoying it so far. It's kind of just a man's crazy ramblings, but I'm into it.
That's cool. So the next question is, what was the last thing you highlighted?
And I tabbed, that's the same as highlighting, right? The last thing I tabbed was in Parable of the Talents by Queen Octavia. And this is actually part of her, there's like an interview with her in the back, so this is part of her interview. But I tabbed this part that says, some people know that if they can only find the people responsible for all the chaos and punish them, stop them, kill them, then all will be well again. Hunting for scapegoats is always popular in times of serious trouble. So is hunting for the great leader who will restore prosperity and stability. Some people know that that's the answer. If they could just find the strong, powerful leader that they need, all would be well. And unhappily for them, they do find such a leader. That leader has his own answers. He turns his true believers, his thugs, loose on those he chooses as scapegoats. And he looks around for an external enemy to use as an even bigger scapegoat and a diversion from the reality that he doesn't really know what to do. Because of him, innocent people lose their freedom, lose custody of their children, lose their lives. Because of him, the U.S. starts wars, etc. So I marked that because it sounded mighty fucking familiar.
Yep. It surely does.
And this was an interview with her from probably the 90s, late 90s, so yep.
Yep, she's a prophet. She's prophetic. I don't really highlight or tab my books. The last thing I actually highlighted was something for work, so boring answer.
All right. Question 3, what do you plan to read next?
I'm just gonna wing it. I have 2 books left in the Patternist series by Queen Octavia, and I've kind of been jonesing to read some of the Queen here lately, so I might read one of those.
I will probably read either volume 2 of Monstrous, which is a graphic novel, or I just got a book from the library today by Alyssa Cole. It's called something about a union. It's a historical romance.
Ah.
Yeah.
One fiction writer, living or dead, it'd be with whom, I think, not with which, but I would like to grab a drink. Octavia Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Queen Octavia. Number 5, one non-fiction writer, living or dead, with whom I would like to grab a drink.
Caitlin Doughty, probably?
That's who I was gonna say.
Yeah.
We've both met her in real life, and she's super cool.
Yeah, she's
really
so nice.
friendly and would be fun to hang out with, I think.
I think so. One poet, living or dead, with whom I would like to grab a drink.
I don't read a lot of poetry.
I don't either.
So this is hard.
Shel Silverstein.
Shel Silverstein?
I don't know.
I love me some Gwendolyn Brooks. So maybe her?
I really love E.E. Cummings' poetry. I don't know anything about E.E. Cummings.
I don't really know much about Gwendolyn Brooks, so, you know, like, grab a drink and be like, so, tell me about yourself.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Yeah.
Number 7, one booktuber with whom I would like to grab a drink.
Yes.
I find it very difficult to say just one.
Yeah, me too.
We'd like to have drinks with everyone, which is why
That's why we drink.
Yeah.
Vicariously through the camera.
I'll just say the other booktubers we know who like to drink in their videos should be tea hags.
Yeah.
I think they'd be really fun to
grab a drink
have drinks with. I feel like we'd get a little crazy.
Crazy!
Might have a few too many drinks.
A couple extra drinks. Yeah. I think Allie from Hardback Quarter would be fun to have a beer with.
Yeah. But really everybody.
But really all of you. So if you're, in the area, let us know. Emily Dickinson or Edgar Allan Poe?
I've read more Poe, but I've really enjoyed the Emily Dickinson I've read too, so I don't know.
I'm kind of the same way.
I will say though that when it comes to poetry, something I like almost more than the words is sort of the cadence and rhythm of it, and I think Poe was kind of a master at that.
Oh yeah, definitely. yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So I'm a little conflicted on that one also.
Let's just move on.
Carrying on.
Hemingway or Fitzgerald?
Fitzgerald maybe.
Yeah, I've only read. See, I'm not going to be good at any of these because I think I've read like one thing from each of these authors.
Yeah.
So that's not much. That's not much to compare by. Of what I've read by Hemingway and Fitzgerald, I would say Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Jane Austen or Charles Dickens?
Austen.
Dickens.
Harris or Hitchens. I haven't read either, and I don't have any desire to.
No. Stephen King or Michael Crichton?
See, this one's hard, because I've read one book by each, and of those two books, I would say the Stephen King book was better written. But without Michael Crichton, we wouldn't have Jurassic Park.
And that would be a sad.
But without Stephen King, we wouldn't have The Shining, which is a great...
Oh god, I love The Shining.
Great movie. I haven't read that book, but...
See, here's my thing. I feel like Michael Crichton is not like an excellent writer, and he kind of sucks at writing dialogue. Stephen King is not like, his endings.
Yeah, not a super great writer. I mean, he is a great... I think they're both good writers, obviously. They're very successful, but they each have their own issues.
Yeah, I'd say Stephen King.
I'll say Michael Crichton just to
offset it. Bret Easton Ellis or Chuck Palahniuk? Palahniuk. I can never fucking say that dude's name.
I would say Bret Easton Ellis.
I would also say Bret Easton Ellis.
Vonnegut or John Green? I don't understand how you can compare the two, honestly.
Yeah. That's kind of like apples and oranges. Yeah,
but I would say Vonnegut.
Yeah.
You should say John Green or Salinger, because he wrote like Catcher in the Rye is a YA novel, basically.
Yeah.
And Salinger would be the answer.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people would pick John Green because a lot of people hate The Catcher in the Rye.
That's true. And a lot of people love John Green, so. Shakespeare's poems or plays?
I will have to be honest with you. I'm not sure if I have ever read a poem by Shakespeare. I've read 2 of his plays. And so I guess plays because that's the only thing I've read.
I'm going to go with neither. Like, I don't care much for Shakespeare.
I liked Hamlet. I didn't care for Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
But I thought Hamlet was pretty good. That's the only things.
Cormac McCarthy or J.K. Rowling?
I mean, I've only read one Cormac McCarthy, again. And I mean, I'd say he's probably a better writer than J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
But J.K. Rowling created Harry Potter.
And we love Harry Potter.
So, I don't know. It's a tie.
It's a tie.
Also, again, I feel like that's a weird comparison.
Yeah, that's a really strange two things to pick to compare.
Hannibal Lecter or Voldemort?
Well,
I would say Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I mean,
Voldemort got defeated by a baby.
Yeah, so like, also, where's Voldemort's nose? Like, Hannibal
Lecter ate it.
Oh, see? Definitely Hannibal Lecter then. Hannibal Lecter was such a skilled villain that he not only had his own face, he wore someone else's. At least in the movie.
Did he in the movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how he got out of that cage he was in. He killed the guard and put his face on her.
It's been a long time since I've seen it. T.C. Boyle or George Saunders? I don't think I've ever read T.C. Boyle, so Saunders, I guess.
Yeah. Good writing or good story?
I mean, preferably both.
Yeah, ideally both.
But I would say good writing is more important to me because I could read something like this that's just a man rambling about his fake illness and still enjoy it.
That's fair. Yeah, I would say good writing. I can still enjoy something if the story's good and the writing's bad, but I think I enjoy it more if the writing's good and the story's kind of meh.
YA or children's lit?
Children's lit.
Yeah, I would probably say children's lit too, although there's definitely some good YA out there.
Irony or humor?
Again, I like both. I guess I would say...
I would say...
maybe humor.
I'd say humor.
Yeah.
I would say humor.
Sci-fi or horror?
Sci-fi.
I'd say sci-fi. Although I do love me some horror.
Same. Fantasy or nonfiction?
I'd go nonfiction. I enjoy fantasy sometimes, but I really have to be in the mood for it. If it's like hard fantasy anyway. Would you rather find a new favorite contemporary writer or a new favorite old-time great? I don't really care either way, I don't think. Like, as long as it's someone new that I'm excited about. Someone new to me anyway, you know.
Right. Well, I'm torn about this because if you find like an old-time great and then they're dead, they'll never write anything new that you can enjoy.
That's true.
I.e.
But someone who's still living still has an opportunity to disappoint you.
That's fair. Sonnet or haiku?
I would probably say sonnet. Haikus are fun, but I guess when they're done really well, they can be pretty interesting. But
I like haikus. I like to write them about my day sometimes and email them to people. Especially if I'm frustrated about something, like a haiku. And then I will just write one.
You should start doing limericks.
I should start doing limericks.
Sestina or Villanelle? I gotta be honest, I don't know what that is.
Spend the evening at a library or a bookstore? Sasha's
very thirsty. I would say bookstore because people come to the library for all kinds of things.
Yeah.
People just go to the bookstore for books.
That's true. I would say it depends on how much money is in my bank account.
That too. Library's free. Magazine or Wikipedia article?
Magazine.
I mean, I read more Wikipedia articles. I don't think I read any magazines. So I think I would say Wikipedia article, even though they might not be totally accurate information. But you never know if the information in a magazine is accurate either.
That's also true. Dictionary or encyclopedia?
Encyclopedia. I guess dictionary. I think it'd be more useful and more compact. Encyclopedias, you got whole volumes.
And they go out of date quickly as they gain new information and knowledge, so dictionary.
The writer I would like to write my biography. Someone like Caitlin Doughty, who's funny and good at writing.
Maybe like Margaret Atwood.
Maybe we could just write each other's biographies.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Omit anything that makes me look like an idiot.
Same.
Deal. Do or do not highlight in my books?
I don't highlight. I will tab things sometimes. I kind of want to start writing in my books though because I enjoy it when I get a used book that has writing in it. So I kind of want to start writing things in mine.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the next question. That was the next question. I do or do not write in my books. As of right now, no, I do not.
Okay. Same. I don't highlight, and I don't write. What is your earliest memory of the library?
Probably going to the Douglas County Library with my mom as a kid, and I would go in the kids' area and do puzzles and stuff, and then I'd get to pick books for myself before we left.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I remember they used to have the story time thing that you could call on the phone. They'd give you like a bookmark at the library and it'd have the phone number on it. And you would call in and it would go to-do, and then they would read you a story over the phone. And I used to do it at my grandma's house all the time.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. It was pretty sweet.
Last time you went to the library?
I don't know.
I actually went there today because my hold came in, so I went and picked it up.
Have you ever stolen or accidentally stolen books from the library?
I don't think so. My best friend in high school stole one, and somehow I ended up with it. But I was not the one who stole it.
You were not the thief. Not the book thief.
Yeah.
I have never, I don't think.
Ballpark, how many books do you own?
Like including ebooks or like physical books? I mean, physical books, maybe like 1 to 200. If we're gonna include ebooks, then maybe like 300 or 400. I have a lot of ebooks.
I don't have any ebooks, but physical books, I think I have over 400.
Damn, girl.
Yep.
How many books do you think would make for a reasonable personal library?
I think that's down to the individual and how much space you have.
Same.
Own as many books as you want. I don't care.
Same. Yeah, for me, I want like a room with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves on the walls and just fill it
like
up.
that library from Beauty and the Beast. That's what I want.
Hook us sister up.
So there's Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, etc. How do you feel about the phenomenon?
Well, I don't care for Jane Austen, so like anything that could perhaps spice up anything by Jane Austen, like sure, but I've never read them. I can't speak from like experience there.
I have read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and did not care for it. The phenomenon as a whole, it doesn't really like upset me in any way, but I haven't read one that I thought needed to exist.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Horror trope you would like to see get more love?
I don't know. I think something I enjoy in horror is creepy children.
Ooh.
I feel like that already gets a lot of love, though.
Ooh.
There's quite a few creepy kid stories.
Erotic horror. I like erotic horror.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
Something that you think gets underutilized in sci-fi.
Women.
That's what I was gonna say. Women in general.
Women.
Mostly in vintage sci-fi.
Yeah.
I think now is
There's
less
some
of an
really
issue.
great,
But I mean, I read Foundation last year, and it was 3/4 of the way through that book before a woman was even mentioned. I was beginning to think that women didn't exist in this future world or universe.
Flash fiction. Form of and format of literature, or it's just a short story dummy?
I don't know. I don't know anything about flash fiction.
I don't either.
So, don't know. If you could own one book from all of history, what would it be?
Oh shit. What?
I'd own the first edition of the Bible because you know how much fucking money that'd be worth.
I would own the tablets that Moses recorded, had the 10 Commandments on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want those.
You just want them to keep.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not even gonna sell them.
No. I would edit them.
Thou shalt not be a wanker. Audiobooks. The same as reading?
I think we've talked about this before. I don't think it's the same. Obviously, it's not the same as reading because you're not reading.
By definition.
But yeah, by
it's
definition,
not the
it's
same
not
as
the same as
reading.
reading. I don't think it's necessarily any less. I used to, but I don't now. I don't think it's any like less.
I think it's just as valid as reading.
Yeah. Most literary songwriter of your lifetime?
I mean, I suppose it would be Bob Dylan since he
did.
He won the Nobel Prize in Literature.
Yeah.
I don't really listen to Bob Dylan.
Yeah, but he did win that. I don't
I was
know.
trying to think of someone I actually listen to who writes really great song lyrics.
Belphegor.
Belphegor. Bondage. I can't understand most of their lyrics because they're in Swedish.
Yeah, so who knows? I mean, they could be quite poetic for all I know, but I mean...
There are some metal bands. Oh, here's one. Power metal in general has some very epic storylines in their songs. And for example, a band I've been listening to a lot is Ancient Bards. All of their albums continue, they're like a whole story.
That's cool.
It's called like something about a crystal sword. I don't know. The Saga of the Crystal Sword, I think. And so all of their songs tell this epic story.
That's pretty awesome.
So, power metal. What writer embarrasses you the most because you haven't read them?
I'm not really embarrassed about any writer I haven't read.
I think I'm kind of like past the point of being embarrassed by not having read. Usually it's what Janelle refers to as white dick lit.
Yeah, that's generally
authors. I don't know.
care.
There's so many books to be read. There's no way I can read every book or every author in the world. So I'm just going to read what I want to read.
Same, yeah.
And if I never get around to reading James Joyce or whoever the fuck, then who cares?
Yeah, I don't give a shit. So, no embarrassment there. What writer embarrasses you because you've read too much from them?
Again, I don't think I'm really embarrassed by any. I did read probably too much Dean Koontz when I was in middle school. To be healthy, really.
What was that? Mary
Higgins Clark.
I read a lot.
I read
of
a shitload of her too
in middle school.
There was 3 authors that I just like devoured in middle school, and it was those 2 and Louis L'Amour, which are like all
very
different.
Very different pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was honing my reading taste.
Yeah.
And now I still just read
super eclectic.
Everything.
Eclectically, yeah. I almost said eclectively.
Eclectively.
Yeah, no.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a new word I made up.
What is a biography you're looking forward to reading?
I don't honestly care much for biographies.
I can't think of one.
I find them kind of boring, honestly.
I have a book about the Romanov sisters that I suppose would count as a biography, maybe?
I never did make it
TBR.
through that Tesla biography.
Really?
I mean, it's a lot of dates and places and shit, and that's why I don't care.
Yeah.
Just tell me in general.
Do you have a dream reading cubby?
Not like a specific one, I guess. Like, I've seen pictures of some cool cubbies, and, you know, I like them. I like window seats.
Yeah. I was going to say the exact... Ever since I was a kid, I always wanted a bay window with a window seat where I could sit and read. And in this scenario, also, I live out in the country with a nice view.
Yeah.
There's no people walking past my house or looking at me.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I want the room behind me to be full of books.
Full of books.
I also like the idea of having like a very warm and cozy study.
Yeah.
Also.
I like that idea too. Yeah. And I think sometimes about like an outside reading nook, but then like in my dream scenario there are no bugs.
Right.
You know, because like I'd like to get like a nice swing, you know, like those covered swings or whatever for my porch, but bugs. So
yeah,
you know. Last literary phenomenon that really got your gears grinding.
I don't know. I'm pretty laid back. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I will say that I don't care for these like Tumblr poetry. It's just not for me. I flipped through what's that one that was really popular? The Princess Saves Herself in this one. I flipped through it in Target because I was like, oh, I like the idea of this.
Right.
And then I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Put it back. So I don't care for that style of poetry, but I don't care that it exists. Like, if other people enjoy it, then fine.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'm pretty laid back, so I can't really think. Look, you were just outside.
Number 51.
Yep.
What was the last piece of literature that changed the way you read?
I don't know that I could say I could pick something that changed the way that I read. I have been like reading a lot more like female authors because I think when we started the channel we were looking at our
zoned out.
I was like I was struggling to get through my words there. The first year that we had the channel, I think we went back and looked at our books read, and most of what we both read was white dudes.
Right.
And so I think
if you don't, I think if you're not conscious
that's
of what you're reading, you're probably going to end up, or unless you only read new releases, I think you're only going to end up mostly reading white dudes because that's who was mostly published for a very long time.
And I think now, like, a lot of my reading are, you know, books by women or people of color or whatever. So I think that I can't really pinpoint a book or a work of literature that started that shift. Yeah. But
I think, again, I don't know if I can pinpoint a specific book, but I think for me, like, I read a lot of sci-fi, and in sci-fi and genre fiction, I think I've been more conscious of finding, like, more meaning in what the author is doing. Like, what does this represent, sort of? Because on the surface, maybe it's a weird book about aliens, but is there a deeper theme? Right. And Octavia Butler's been part of that, I think, and maybe books like A Planet for Rent by Yas, which I read a couple years ago.
So what booktuber have you been watching the most recently?
A new person who I think they're kind of new to the platform, and they've grown really quickly, and it's easy to see why, but is Bow Ties and Books. And they did this whole, like, Booktuber Appreciation Awards, which was really awesome, and now they're co-hosting Blackathon, and they make really great videos, and so I've been watching a lot of them. Yeah, so that was the 52 Bookish Qs, I think is, what is that?
We just gave you our A's.
So there were our A's. Enjoy.
Enjoy our A's.
And this Polyjuice potion, it kind of grew on me.
It grew on me too.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I probably wouldn't buy it again.
No.
I might, you know, keep a can just for the novelty of it.
And it's got the dark mark on it.
Yeah, it has the dark mark. So it's a cool concept, a cool, you know, fun little thing.
Fun little dealio.
But the taste is not particularly special.
It's not fantastic.
So that's it. Should we tag some people? Let's just put some people below.
Yeah, we'll tag in the description.
This video is probably long enough without us saying who we're tagging. So that's it.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.